Hello and welcome to Biogas TV. I'm Paul Green. I run a biogas RNG advisory business. I'm also here with my co-host Alex McFarland of RNG Connect and Drew Puchot, who'll be doing our wrap-up offtake roundup at the end. We are the #1 live streaming biogas TV show in the world. Today's episode is sponsored by IVUS Adsorption. IVUS is a global leader in the cleaning and upgrading and separation of gases. IVUS has vast experience with biomethane, CO2, hydrogen, and will be presenting later in this episode on the economics of on-site RNG fueling stations. We're pleased that Jeff Fotakis of IVUS is here with us today now, who has vast application knowledge of all things biomethane and RNG. Our featured guest today is Mr. Fury Zaidi. Fury is a national thought leader in the CNG fueled vehicles. He converted his first Dodge Dart in 1972 to CNG as an engineering school project. With over 20 years in the CNG industry, his company Wing Fuel Systems has converted and serviced more than 100,000 natural gas vehicles. They've been operating Ford and Isuzu box trucks with gas engines converted with Westport Biofuel in their own logistics operations for more than 5 years. Over 12 million miles across the CNG fleet of trucks, with several Ford units having over 300,000 miles on them. Wing Fuel offers an integrated platform that combines over 300 EPA certified options and deploying Westport fuel systems and they have cost-effective vehicle pricing and turnkey on-site fueling solutions. Fury will be talking today about future opportunities to grow CNG market share in the transportation space. So Fury, so happy you're with us here today. Thanks for joining the show.
Thank you, Paul, for inviting me to join your show.
Yeah,
Exciting times.
very welcome. Yeah, we can't wait to hear more about fueling vehicles with CNG, RNG. So how do we want to start here? Do you have a slide or two or?
No slides. I'm
Okay,
just going to talk, Paul.
we're just going to talk. Love
Yeah,
it. No
yeah.
problem.
I think just to plug in to start off with, the largest industry show is called ACT, Alternative Clean Transportation, which is now the 18th year. This year happening in Las Vegas. We're going to be present out there along with about 10,000 more people who are very interested in renewable natural gas. And, we've been a big proponent of natural gas, period, for the last 20 years that we've been converting vehicles. And now that natural gas is even cleaner with a lower CI score, renewable natural gas, it just makes it more attractive. And it's the cleanest, lowest carbon fuel, lowest price fuel available today with all the incentives that are out there.
ACT conference. I that one's kind of new to me, Paul. I mean, why am I just out of it, or have you ever gone to that one?
I've not. No, they're, Fury's feeling like, so it's next week in Vegas talking about hydrogen,
Yeah,
RNG, CNG. So
Does the
no, it's all been
biogas and
about
HCT bubbles are those overlapping?
we will have a booth there
All
as
right.
well with Ivory's Energy Systems, our sister company that does dispensing. So
Oh,
Right.
awesome.
Yeah, and it is, it's the biggest show for our industry. It has been, and big on RNG and all the big players, waste management, clean energy, UPS. Between just these two companies, they have over 50,000 natural gas heavy duty vehicles operating today. So they have adopted it, and it's a great show, for you and maybe Paul. We'll see what your agenda is. We may
yeah,
may have talk about it next week.
yeah, good. Okay.
I think you asked me the question, why NG, why RNG, why RNG vehicles, and I think T. Boone Pickens, who was one of my mentors, always used to say, this is American, abundant, and affordable. And that is more true today than it was, 20 years ago, because we have more natural gas than any other country in the world. The Texas itself has got more gas than most countries, and it is the least expensive fuel today, especially with the war, with the $4, $5, $6, $7, $8, $9, $10 a gallon diesel. So it makes sense. It's cleaner and it's available today. What we add to it is we have seen the growth in the natural gas trucks in U.S., primarily in the Class 8 sector, on fleets like Waste Management and UPS. And the growth on the light duty vehicles, the pickup trucks and medium duty vehicles have been slow. And the growth has been top down, whereas globally the growth is bottom up. I mean, individuals go buy trucks and convert their vehicles to natural gas, whether it's for personal use or for company use, and only for two reasons. Number one, it's cleaner. Number two, which is more important to them, it's cheaper. And I think that is what's going to drive the growth of this industry in the United States. And doing this for 20 years, the cost of fueling stations are expensive. They used to be $1 million, now they're $2 and $3 million. So individuals cannot go invest in that. So we have found a solution of fueling at home with a small unit starting at $20,000, going up to $50,000. And I think for a long time, this company has talked about chicken and egg. And, do we build the station first, infrastructure first, or we build a fleet of vehicles first? And that's been the biggest question in this industry. And I think the right answer is both. You got to have both the infrastructure as well as cars and trucks, light duty, medium duty, heavy duty. I think the Cummins has done a great job on the heavy duty segment of the industry, and we feel we making a big dent in promoting light duty from small cars to medium duty trucks. And we see big companies now really who tried electric, which did not work out best for them. So I think electric has a space, but in the commercial world where you have to run a truck 10, 12 hours a day, electric vehicles are not there today. But natural gas vehicles, especially with clean, renewable natural gas, is the answer today.
Are you seeing opportunities for commercial transportation more in like fast fill or slow fill?
I think it's a combination of both. So the units that we have, they can deploy from 2 gallons an hour to 10 gallons an hour. So if you have a single truck and you need 20 gallons, and you have 10 hours at nighttime, you plug it in just like your electric car. In the morning, your tank is full with 20 gallons. But if you have 2 trucks or 3 trucks, then we will provide you some storage with it, so you can come in and fill up just like you will fill up at the pump, 5 gallons or 10 gallons or 20 gallons that you need in each vehicle. So a single unit with some storage, you can fill up 2 or 3 vehicles, and then you can scale it back up. So if you start off with 2 trucks, and then you go to 4, then you go to 6, then you go to 8. So you can add all of these fueling units in sequence. So
And
you can,
Furry,
yeah.
sorry. So one of the issues that we've seen is that the fast fill stations, they're charging you a discount to the gasoline, and it's completely disconnected from the price that they charge is completely disconnected from the natural gas cost. It's following the gasoline price, and so maybe one of the biofuel systems that you talked about, if you can really just install a fueler at your home on a slow fill, home base, right, on a slow fill basis, but you have biofuel. That way, you're not worried that you're going to get stuck out there and not find a fueling station. That seems like an ideal solution. And I understand you're working with those too.
Yeah, absolutely correct. And I'll clarify something which a lot of people may know or may not know. the the raw cost of natural gas, which comes out of the ground for the last 15 years, has been between $3 an MCF or $2.50 an MCF to as high as $5 an MCF. What that translates into is between 25 cents a gallon, a gasoline gallon equivalent, to 35 cents a gasoline gallon equivalent. So that has been steady 10 cents difference of raw cost of natural gas. And then your local gas company charges distribution charges, line charges, taxes. So, if you look at your gas bill at home and you divide that MCF and convert it to gasoline gallons per GGE, that cost hovers between 95 cents and 125 cents, in most of the states. So you could fill up your fuel at home with clean, renewable natural gas for that price, or even just regular natural gas for that price. Now, RNG has, because it's so clean, it has credits, RIN credits, which are, hover between, they were high at $10 a gallon at one time, but they are between $2 and $3 a gallon today. So if the, supplier of renewable natural gas is willing to share that part of the RIN credits with the end users, so that cost of gas goes down from $1 a gallon to, say, 65 cents or 75 cents a gallon. Compare that to a diesel truck, which is $4, $5, $6 a gallon. And, so you're going either 10 miles in $6, or you're going 10 miles in 65 cents. It's a big difference.
Huge.
And so, that is the biggest hidden secret in this industry today. The RIN benefits and which was called the AFTC tax credit, which was alternative fuel tax credit of 50 cents a gallon, which had been there for the last 15 years, that translates into big companies like Waste Management and UPS into hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of $1 million. And one man in a truck never sees that.
What all is involved in converting a diesel vehicle into CNG? You've got controls and automation. You need to store the CNG, and we're not talking about LNG, right? This is compressed gas in a fiberglass cylinder. What is that, like 4,000 psi? Like what?
Cool. So let me clarify.
Yeah.
Yes. Can the diesel trucks also be converted to natural gas? The answer is yes. There are two ways to do it. One is to make a diesel truck, to change the technology on it, make it, instead of injection-based, make a port injection-based technology. It's a little difficult, but mostly what we convert is gasoline engines. It is very, very, very easy to take a gasoline engine and convert it to natural gas. And the gasoline engines go all the way from a Class 7 Ford F-650 box truck, 26 foot, to a Chevy 1500. And it's very simple. It is simple, but it's regulated because in the rest of the world, you can do a conversion for $3,000 or $4,000. But the requirements and regulations in US are quite intensive for safety reasons and for environmental reasons. And so that cost is 3 times, 4 times. And also the cost of the cylinders. Rest of the world uses simple, small steel cylinders, where in US we use carbon fiber cylinders, and cost of those gasoline storage tanks is 2x, 3x, 4x, depending on the size.
So why is diesel more difficult to convert to CNG than gasoline?
Because it has got diesel injectors, and you convert them. Diesel is injected into it, and so in order to make a diesel engine a natural gas engine, you have to change the heads to where the diesel injections goes. You have to replace that with gasoline injectors, and you need to put spark plugs. So diesel injector ignites under diesel pressure. Whereas natural gas, you need a spark, so you have to add a natural gas plug to it.
Yeah, it's compression ignition compared to spark ignition.
That's correct.
There is a cheat code there, which that I remember this company in Vancouver was doing, where you bleed a little bit of fossil gas into the air intake side, and then reduce diesel consumption.
So I'll clarify. There are two types of conversions. You know, the in diesel, you can do blended fuel. So you have, it's a blended conversion and it's called biofuel. So you have about 60-70% diesel and you have about 30 to 40% natural gas. So you use the ignition from diesel to ignite the gasoline in that scenario, and you don't need a spark plug. So, that technology is there, and a lot of school buses and a lot of the third world countries have that blended fuel today because that's a very inexpensive conversion.
So
And
Ralph asks, is it practical to convert larger agricultural diesel trucks? And if so, how much diesel can be replaced? Did you just answer that as like 30-40% maybe?
yeah, you can save at least on a low end of 20%, on a high end of 40%. So it's called displacement. You can replace that whether it's your tractor, whether it's your 18-wheeler, or it's your bulldozer. They can all be converted, and we have done those with natural gas and renewable natural gas in the oil
So
patch.
Fury, would the same regulatory requirements and testing and all that apply equally to off-road applications, like the mining vehicles, or all of there's a lot of diesel running around out there that maybe doesn't have these same requirements, or am I dreaming?
No, well, EPA makes things very difficult for us. So, what EPA does have is a leeway is called, they have called useful life means if the truck is 10 years old, then the amount of testing you require to do is called outside useful life. And that is a very inexpensive way of getting EPA certification. You just have to have a probe in the tailpipe, measure the emissions, submit them to EPA, and then EPA says as long as the truck is 10 years or more older, because then we give you a EPA certification. It's called outside useful life, and then the full certification is the one that costs you a lot of money. And we are the only company in the United States today that has over 300 different vehicle platforms certified through US EPA.
So the biogas industry is looking for some quick hits for success that we can look at in the next year or two where we can succeed. So if I'm a biogas plant and I have 5 acres of land and I've got 2 acres next to me that I could set up a fueling station, and I guess the biogas plant would generate the RIN. What kind of vehicles in the short term could we fuel? Because obviously the cycle of appropriating for a new diesel vehicle or a new RNG vehicle, it takes some time. And you're in the conversion business. What is our best chance for a quick hit? Are we going to try to convert? You said gas trucks are, I'm even trying to picture, I mean, so much diesel out there in the trucking industry. Are there a lot of gas trucks? I thought most trucks were like all diesel.
Well, that's the misconception. So, as we was growing up, we thought only diesel had the power and the torque. But today, the technology on advanced gasoline engines is just as good. So, especially the e-commerce business that doesn't require 20,000 pounds in a truck. The gasoline is a better solution. It's a less expensive solution. It's a simpler solution. It's a biofuel solution. Means you don't have range anxiety. You can have natural gas to cut your fuel costs in half or less. And if you ever run out of fuel, the truck will automatically switch to gasoline. And we see the growth in U.S. coming from that business because the number one fear factor in the electric business was the range anxiety. The number one factor in the natural gas business had been range anxiety when you take the truck and make it only one fuel, natural gas. But the solution that we offer, either or, You can either put in $1 a gallon fuel, or you can put a $5 a gallon fuel. Choice is yours. You can drive on gasoline at $5 a gallon, or you can drive on natural gas for $1 a gallon. So I think as the economics expand and the gap expands, the opportunity of natural gas is going to be big. To answer your question, if the truck has 10 different, service trucks, mechanics trucks, employees trucks, they can all be turning to natural gas, and they can be fueling for free at the biogas site.
What do you think
It's
of opportunities like with companies like Amazon that have these smaller trucks and they're more open to sustainability stories like the RNG sustainability story? Are you seeing much activity from that, Fury?
Yes. So that is one of our target companies, because Amazon already has ordered more than 3,000 natural gas trucks, and have a partnership with Clean Energy to build them 20 or 30. It's not public information, so it's limited. They build renewable natural gas stations. So they are focused on the Class 8. They have a program, and they've been operating Class 8 natural gas trucks for the last 4 years. We are pushing them that they should do the same program for Class 7, Class 6, Class 5 trucks. They tried electric. It has worked out finally fairly well for them in the last mile, but it's not been very successful. And our approach with them is, they should look at Class 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trucks also in natural gas or renewable natural gas.
Okay. We had a question come in from Dennis. He asks about maintenance costs of CNG versus hybrid versus liquid petrol. Any comments on that?
So we have 12 million miles in-house operating natural gas vehicles, and the cost of natural gas converted truck is less than that of gasoline. The spark plugs last longer, the oil lasts longer, and the component failure or natural gas is less than 3%.
Yeah.
So our cost of operating natural gas trucks is about 18% less than gasoline trucks.
Okay. Okay. Well, we could go on quite some time here, Fury. Thank you for this. I don't know if you have any closing thoughts. Did want to get to Jeff talking about the cost of CNG infrastructure. Did we cover everything you wanted to cover here in round one?
Well, I think the one thing I want to say in my closing is, if I were to sum this whole thing up, why is renewable natural gas not being used most? It's called the awareness gap. And I think my hat's off to you, Paul and team, to really educating people that there is a solution today. It's they just got to be brave enough to make
Yeah.
the change.
Good.
It's
Well,
the
thanks,
mess.
Fury. Everybody's contact is in the chat here. We'd encourage people to reach out to you to talk about fleet conversions and other aspects of CNG fueling. So you're welcome to stick around with us, Fury. Thank you. And going to introduce Jeff Fotakis with IVUS Adsorption. And Jeff's got one of his things that he does extremely well is his prepackaged calculators and models he runs. So he's going to tell us a bit about CNG fueling.
Perfect. Yeah, I appreciate that, Paul. I will share my screen, but this is a topic that's kind of near and dear to me. The first RNG project I was a part of that won the Landfill Methane Outreach Program Award in 2013 had a CNG fueling station from Clean Energy as part of that RNG project that we built out. And DeKalb County, Georgia converted something like 100 of their vehicles over to compressed natural gas, ranging from all types. I think they even had a pickup trucks, they had garbage trucks, they had a crane truck, a whole lot of different styles of vehicles. So it's a topic that I appreciate. And I think with RNG world was really focused on sending gas to California when California LCFS credits were where they were, higher than they are today. And that incentivized, the gas to be dispensed there. But now that the credit markets have changed around, it makes sense to do some of this more locally and keep the benefit of the project more local. And a way to do that is through CNG dispensing, especially if you have a larger fleet already. So let me share my screen, and then Paul, let me know if you can see this all right.
It's coming up. Not yet.
Okay.
There you go.
Shows that
Okay, we
I'm
got you now. Yep.
sharing. Okay, so this calculator that I put together shows some of the benefits of having renewable natural gas also have CNG dispensing at a common project. If you have, this is kind of set up to convert a larger fleet of vehicles. So this would be some maybe 30 trucks or something along that line, depending on the consumption. So let's see. So I have. So the way that I put this together, if you're say they, and I'll run through pretty quickly because I know we're short on time, but paying $10 million, these are all hypothetical, $10 million for an RNG facility for the equipment and installation, $3 million to build out a large fast fill CNG dispensing station, converting trucks, a fleet of trucks over at $2.5 million, paying, local electricity. I think I ran the diesel gallon starts at $5. So now that diesel and energy is higher, it helps the economics on doing this style of project. But I have some power requirements for the RNG system, the CNG, some other operational costs, so I'm in this scenario. I'm running 2,500 diesel gallon equivalents for the fleet per day, or that it's consuming 2,500 diesel gallons. So this scenario, the RNG facility could generate about 5,800 diesel gallon equivalents. So they're consuming roughly 42% of the fuel as CNG of the RNG. In this scenario, all of the credits are generating RINs. They're all being sold at $17 an MMBTU. And the what I've done here is looked at the benefit of adding CNG. So with CNG, the project would basically add, be $139 million project over the 20-year life of the project. Without CNG, it would be $66 million project, as the diesel costs are, a big portion of the project expenses. So here it's $4.4 million a year that they're paying at diesel at $5 a gallon. And then the comparison between having the CNG with not having the CNG, I've calculated the benefit of adding the CNG is another $73 million. So I have some financial calculations that come from that and kind of a net benefit graph that shows including the CNG compared to not having the CNG. But some of the real interesting factors here, outside of it adding a lot of value to the project and it paying back pretty quickly with diesel being expensive the way it is, the net benefit of having the CNG fueling per MMBTU is $35, almost $36 in this scenario. So that's including the cost of building the station, converting the fleet, operating the station, and maintaining it. You're basically turning what would be $4 an MMBTU of brown gas that you would sell into a $36 value per MMBTU by avoiding that larger diesel bill. So, this scenario, I think, gives a little bit of perspective on, even the diesel cost. So averaging out across this, it's basically at $5.78 a gallon. That turns into $45 an MMBTU of cost. So diesel is high. And to Fury's point that he made before, just converting your fleet over to natural gas on its own has a huge potential cost savings, even with all of the infrastructural changes and other costs associated with doing that. So, especially if somebody has a large fleet today, there's a benefit in not paying diesel and instead, sending some of that over to your fleet and filling compressed natural gas vehicles.
Great, Jeff. That was a lot of numbers pretty quick. If anybody would like a deeper immersion into this model, shoot us a note in the chat and we can set something up to do that. But I think there's a lot of meat on the bone here as far as economic benefits. So thank you, Jeff from IVAS. And so our last feature each week is our offtake roundup, which we have our expert Drew Puchot on here with us. Drew, how you doing, man?
Doing well, Paul. Doing well.
Yeah,
We've
what do you got for us?
we've pegged 5-year landfill offtakes pretty much right on the dollar at $15 per MMBTU for EAs only. And I think that's an important number for the market to kind of rationalize for the time being. We've also seen that low CI offtake is available for 5-year terms in the upper 30s to as high as $40 per MMBTU with a minus 250 CI score. So the market kind of has come to a resolution on that for the time being. Hopefully D3 RIN prices and LCFS prices can pick up. And I do want to make a comment again, just like last week, I do think that Mexico is being overlooked because it is a small volume market. But I think this conversation is particularly important to fleets in that region who have the opportunity to convert.
Very cool. Wonderful. Well, thanks again, folks, panelists. I think a lot of upside potential here in CNG fueling. So it seems like we're the last to smell the coffee on this. You go to China, you go to Europe, there's dual fuel everywhere, and there's not so much here. So we're at time. Thank you, attendees. Next week, we've got one of the Giants of Biogas Award winners, Steve Dvorak from DVO, as our featured speaker. So we'll look forward to that. With that, we'll call it a wrap, and everybody have a great week.
Thank you.
Thank you.